always be crying at weddings. I be like, because I love, y'all. I be like, I hope they signed a prenup. Even if they only got $22 to their name and an IKEA dresser, I hope.
Oh, I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I'm Zainab Johnson. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? I don't know what that was. I have no idea. I know I needed to wait until the evening. As much as I wanted to go to the masjid today, maybe I'll go after this because I definitely wanted to. It's kind of too late now to pray Tarawih. I could do it at home, but it's supposed to be right after Isha. Okay. I needed to eat. Like I had so little energy today. I was like, really wanted to kind of get this done and out the way early in the day. But once I had the time, like around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I was so depleted, you guys. I was so beat. Anyway, welcome. Ramadan Mubarak. Happy Women's History Month, I think. Is it Women's Month or Women's History Month? Yo, the Barbs, Nicki Minaj's fan base, they don't play. Remember in Lean on Me when the girl was like, you know, Mr. Clark don't play.
Mr. Clark don't play.
The Barbs. I posted a stand-up clip that I guess it poked fun at Nicki Minaj. It poked fun, not at Nicki Minaj, the person, but it poked fun at her new alignment with MAGA, right? And basically the joke was, you know, sometimes if a lot of times if I post a clip, it's usually stuff that I come up with on the spot. Like if you've ever been to my show, you know that like I do a mix between what I'm working on, the written material that I'm working on, that I'm eventually going to put in a special. And then, you know, I just like, sometimes I just be going off, like I just improvise. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes sometimes I'm taking in like whatever stimuli I've consumed for the day. It just comes out on stage, you know? And so I posted this clip and basically simple joke, basic joke. It was basically like, you know, Nicki Minaj, her upkeep is like basically, in my opinion, MAGA, the two main groups that they seem to really be targeting are people of color, specifically black people, but people of color. And I know it seems like they're targeting like immigrant people because by way of ICE and stuff like that. But even still, those are immigrants that are melanated. They are like, they don't like, it's predominantly black people, and trans people, gay people, trans people, like not the gay and trans are the same. They're not, but that's primarily who MAGA targets. Like that's it, you know? And like, Obama, like, you know, if Trump could get a special task force to just go against Obama, like if he could have the Obama clan, you know what I'm saying? And they just put on white sheets and go light crosses on fire in front of Obama's residences, I'm sure that Trump would sign a bill to have that happen. So I was basically poking fun at her alignment with Trump, and I was saying like, you know, I mean, it's a bit stereotypical, but it's like, yeah, we all know in the beauty industry, a lot of the people who like lead the beauty industry, the behind the scenes are the gays, are the blacks and the gays, right? So regardless of who gets higher contracts, regardless of who they talk, regardless of who they say great, we know the leaders of the beauty industry, especially in music, are the blacks and the gays, right? And so I said that Nicki Minaj's look requires too much upkeep. Now, I'm not saying Nicki Minaj. I don't even have to say, like, I'm not saying I don't think, y'all, how many times have I got on this podcast and said Nicki Minaj is the best, like one of the best rappers? How many times have I said that on here, right? But whatever. We're going to get to my mama telling me not to pay attention to what nobody say online. But I was such a huge fan of Nicki, not just musically. Like, I think over the years, it's sort of like turned into, I don't know, she became more unreasonable than reasonable. But I remember when Nicki first got on the scene, I remember I just used to love her because she used to call out everything. You try to give Nicki a bad interview, she gonna call you out. You try to show up unprepared, she gonna call you out. You try to put her, like, you try to use some double standard against her, she's gonna call. I really loved that about Nicki, which is why it is so surprising now to see all of these sort of, like, quote unquote bad decisions she's making. So I was poking fun at, like, the bad decisions, right? Let me tell you, the Barbs, on every platform, on every single platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm scared to go on Snapchat. I don't want to go on Reddit. There's no way I'm going to go on X or Threads. Like, they are the most unreasonable fan base I think that I have ever encountered. Because you want to know why? Because they are, like, ridiculous. Like, they just say stuff. They just, like, they have the same talking points. You almost think that they're like bots or something like that. They're so mean. And you don't have to put in the comments at all, like, Zainab, don't worry about it, but don't worry. You don't have to tell me that. The things that they're saying is nonsensical. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, clearly I'm not ugly. Clearly I'm, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, maybe if it was a different opponent, you know what I'm saying? But what the things that they're saying are so obviously, so overtly non-applicable to me. You know what I'm saying? Your career must be in the dumps. Actually, your girl's career seems like it's in the dumps. What? Like, but the Barbs are so unreasonable, you guys. I should just go on and read some of the comments. They're so unreasonable that it makes me concerned for the future. Like, you can't have human beings like that, kind of running wild. Like, they got to be locked up, because it's beyond being a fan. They're so irrational. It's like, again, let me tell you something. Don't let me be a dictator. I'm gonna be putting people in. It's gonna be criminals, and I'm like, I think they learned their lesson. Let's let them out. And then it's gonna be people who never actually committed a crime, but I know that they are insane. We gotta get them up out of here. And I don't mean like special needs or mental illness or anything like that. I mean, baby girl, you delusional. Baby girl, baby boy, baby they. You delusional. You delusional beyond a shadow of a doubt. You are delusional. I hope that you are a bot, because if a human being exists and is this idiotic, it's so sad. It's like, it really hurts my soul as a human being. That's what, when I was reading the comments, I was kind of like, good God, they're dumb. And here's the thing. I don't believe Nicki Minaj is dumb. I believe Nicki Minaj is very smart. Nicki Minaj grew up in the same city as me. Nicki Minaj went to school with people that I am friends with. Like, I believe that Nicki Minaj is talented. I believe that she is an attractive woman. I believe that, you know what I'm saying? But I also believe, for whatever reason, the fan base that she has, thank you so much, actually. Do you know what? Let me not focus on that. If anything that I do attracts the most reasonable people, then thank God. That is what I want to be known. I would never ever want to leave this earth and be known for the barbs. They're terrible. They're I almost want to call them the R word, but then I don't even want to do that to somebody who might really be the R word. You know what I'm saying? Like they are, that's it. They are, quite surprisingly, I'm like, oh my God, you guys, you need help. And thank God I'm not like, I don't know, easily shakeable, insecure with it. Like, thank God, so it's not, so I could just see it for what it is. But even they like, y'all, it's the same talking points. It's like they sent out a bulletin, like whoever's the, you know what, but it'd be the same talking points with MAGA. Ain't that crazy how they got rid of Kristi Noem? I mean, it's not crazy, but it's like how they get rid of her for using the very talking points that they gave to her. Yo. I know what that feel like too. When you show up with somebody like, yup, we gonna do it. And then finally, when you step up front and do everything that y'all agreed that was gonna be done, and then when consequences come, they ain't nowhere to be found. And you like, I thought we was in this together. And they somewhere holding you, not just not next to you no more. They holding you they charging you with all the crimes. I was talking to my mom a couple of days ago, and my mom always watches the show. She always watches I'm Reasonable. She gives me feedback. She always puts it in a family group chat with no context. And here's another reason why the barbs can't shake me, right? Or anybody else, really, to be honest with you, because my mom will comment something about the podcast in the family group chat. Now, you guys know it's a lot of us, right? In the family group chat every single week. Never once has any of the other members in the family group chat been like, oh, Zainab, I'm going to check out the show. You think I care? No, because my relationship with my siblings is not predicated on them tuning into to I'm Reasonable. You know what I'm saying? I actually like them not knowing what this is. So just in case I got to talk about them, I got a place to do it. You know what I'm saying? But my mom watches. My mom watches and she really enjoys it. She likes watching a lot of YouTube content. This is a new thing. But she can do what she wants, right? But she was like, Zainab, your episode last week, she was like, listen, baby, don't pay attention to nothing those people are saying. People leaving comments and they want you to do stuff or they have a problem with this. You don't worry about, you just keep showing up and flipping your hair and talking the way you talk. And I said, thank you. I said, they was crazy, right? Talk about this the last time I'm gonna mention Sterling K. Brown, by the way. Sidebar. Paradise got me in a chokehold, okay? Anyway, I was about to say something, but I ain't gonna spoil it just in case you watch Paradise, which is Sterling K. Brown's show. On Peacock, Hulu, I don't know. But I was like, Ma, right, it is. I was like, right, Ma, I don't know what, like, it was crazy for them to not think that it was crazy for him to be surrounded by FOI. My mother said, no, what was crazy about that? I believe he was surrounded by FOI. And I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, hold on a second. It's just that when you had started the first sentence and you told me to like talk my shit, I thought that you was on my side. But now that I mentioned Sterling K. Brown, it does not seem like you were on my side. And she was like, no, I mean, it's like, well, just know, you got to pay for FOI. I don't know what my mom was talking about. You got to pay for FOI. So if he paid for FOI, I mean, you have to look at it as employment. And I was like, oh, okay. So you don't agree with me. You the ops. And then she said, baby, I just want you to be up there. Don't pay attention to what those people are saying, okay? You just do what you do, talk the way you talk, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't let nobody stop you. I'm like, but it sounds like you're stopping me right now. Sounds like you're Team Sterling. No, I'm kidding. I'm Team Sterling. Also, I should say this now. Whenever I be flipping on like the general public, whenever I vent, directed at you guys, I can promise you that the people that I have in my mind when I'm venting are never the people who say, oh, Zainab, no, I didn't mean no disrespect. I'm coming with love, but you have to understand that we can disagree and blah, 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 blah. Anybody who has the awareness of like, is she talking to me? Let me tell you, I ain't thinking about you. I ain't thinking about the people who I'm talking about. They got no awareness. I was talking to Cadence, who is a reason. And everybody know Cadence from I'm Reasonable. And I've chatted with Cadence twice in New York. I believe we chatted 2 times. The second time a bit longer than the first time. Because Cadence so wonderfully in a supportive way came out to see the shows when I was doing The Hike with Yamanika, Chloe, and Amina, 3 very funny women. And me and Cadence, we were walking like down the street in like the West Village or something. And she said to me, she was like, yeah, sometimes when you be like, y'all not my friends or whatever I be saying. She said, sometimes I be like, dang, did I overstep? And I said, Cadence, I ain't never think about like the people whoever I'm talking about, you have to know that they're so, it's almost like that. It's almost like, that song, I bet you think this song is about like you're so vain. I bet you remember on Living Single. Remember when Mark Curry was the comedian and Sinclair was like, I bet you're so vain. You think this joke is about you, right? It's like that. The people who I'm talking about, they either oblivious or they get very quiet. They stop commenting, at least for a little while. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about marriage. I's married now. How would y'all feel if I just was surprise married on y'all? How would y'all feel about that? If I just was like, yeah, y'all, so I got married the other day. And so, and what's up with Z? So yeah, I got married. And let me tell y'all about this wedding, right? So how would y'all feel? No pictures, no nothing, no warning, no. That is something I would do though. That is something I would do. I would just start talking with a wedding ring on with a tiny, tiny, simple wedding band, like either all like metal, whatever metal I choose, or probably like some stones, like some very like thin to the point where I would want thin, like the tiniest diamonds, or maybe even the tiniest, like either it would have to be like one color. So if I got rubies, like the tiniest rubies, or emeralds, like the tiniest emeralds, or maybe I would go into my birthstone, like aquamarine or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it would be so thin. It would be so thin that the jeweler would probably, and I have like large hands, so I could carry like a big ring and a big stone, but that ain't my style, But I would get like the thinnest, tiniest wedding band with these like precious stones. It would be so tiny that the jeweler would probably be like, it's kind of like a liability to have this. What? I'm like, just make sure it fit tight so I don't never got to take it off. And then I would just show up and just have it. And people would be like, is that a wedding ring on her finger? And I would be like, oh, yeah. So on this week's episode of I'm Reasonable, we're going to talk about marriage. You know what I was running to today? Your love is my love. When did this become a singing podcast? That's what I want to know. And the fact that y'all egg me on, the fact that y'all be like, get it, girl, sing it. Do, 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 do. Your love is my love and my love is your love. Because sometimes you do have to run to Whitney Houston. Sometimes you can't always run to Nuck if you buck. You can't always run to Juvenile and Megan Thee Stallion new song. You can't always run to stuff like that. Sometimes you got to just vibe out. You got to run slow. You got to run slow. You got to pick your knees up. You got to just vibe out. Your love is is my love, and my love is your love. It'll take an eternity to break us. Y'all know I gotta look at the lyrics. Y'all know I don't really know the lyrics like that. What's the lyric? I know there is that one part of that song where I'm like, you could tell Whitney Houston has such a beautiful voice, because I didn't realize she was saying something that I completely disagree with. I even like when she be like, if tomorrow was Judgment Day. Of course, y'all, I'm gonna be like, my tone is gonna be deaf and my rhythm is gonna be less. And then Bobby Christina was like, sing, mommy. Oh, on my run, I got sad today because, like, as I was running, I was thinking about them and realized that they both have passed, and I was like, oh, rest in peace, ladies. If I woke up in World War III, well, I mean, maybe not you, Whitney, but us, and I see destruction and poverty. I might be off the rhythm now. It's like, girl, we there. This song was released in 1998. 2026. We done woke up in World War III. Led by a buffoon. Cause your love is my love and my love is your love. I'm reading the lyrics now. It would take an eternity to break us. I did not know that those were the lyrics. And the chains of Amistad couldn't hold it. What? That made the lyrics. And the chains of Amistad couldn't hold it. That even sound like too many words in the stanza. Is it a stanza? I haven't been in high school English in a minute. I haven't been in Poetry 101 in a minute. Dang, I did not know those was the lyrics. It would take an eternity to break us, and the chains of Amistad couldn't. That just proves how beautiful Whitney's voice was, because, I mean, obviously that's not even debatable, but I for sure didn't think that those was the lines. But when I was running today, I heard this part of the song and I said, I had to stop. I almost turned it off because, words are power. I don't really like certain things getting into my psyche early in the morning. And so these lines, when it said, if I lose my fame and fortune, okay. I mean, nobody wants that, but okay. And I'm homeless on the street. What? This song done took a turn. It done took a turn. I thought we would talk about love. You talk about if you lose your fame and fortune and you homeless on the street, and I'm sleeping in Grand Central Station. What is this, the pursuit of happiness? Girl, no. It's okay if you're sleeping with me. No, it's not. Because your love is my love is your love. We could take an eternity, and then I'm going to start. No. That's where you lost me. Let's get into the marriage. But first, let's talk about, let's do some housekeeping, right? Let's do some housekeeping. First, let's see where you guys can see me. I will be in Melbourne at the end of this month. I will be at the Melbourne Comedy Festival in Melbourne, Australia. That is March 26th through April 5th. I am doing 10 shows in Melbourne, Australia. I'll probably do more shows than that, but right now I am scheduled to do 10 shows. March 26th through April 5th. My first show will be the night of March 26th, 7:40 p.m. in Melbourne, Australia. And then my last show as of right now, inshallah, will be April 5th. 2026 in Melbourne, Australia. And then April 16th through the 18th, I will be in Reno, Nevada. I ain't never been to Reno. I done been to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas to see Mary J. and May. But I ain't never been to Reno. I don't even know do you have to pass through Reno to get to? No. I don't think you do. I've never been to Reno, but I'm going in April. April 16th through the 18th, I will be at the Laugh Factory in Reno, Nevada. May 4th, if you're in Los Angeles and are like Zainab, we always be asking, when are you doing a show in Los Angeles, right? I'm doing a show for Netflix as a joke festival May 4th. May 4th, tickets are on sale now. May 4th. Okay. I'm doing a bunch of other like Netflix is a joke festival shows, but that is the show. Like I'm doing one with like Dwight Howard. No. Who's Gabrielle Union's husband? I hope he doesn't see this before the show because I hear he's a fan. Dwight Howard. It's somebody else that is having a problem with his wife. I don't want to get them confused. And I could type it right now and look it up. What is preventing me from finding out the... Okay, I'm just going to type. Oh, right as I typed it, I realized I was wrong. Dwayne Wade. I'm doing a show with Dwayne Wade. I'm like, Dwight Howard, that don't sound right. It's because I just saw his wife was crying on TikTok. Marriage, y'all. We going to talk about marriage. Okay. So I'm doing a bunch of shows with Netflix's Joke Festival, but I'm doing my solo show May 4th. So if you are in Los Angeles, go ahead and get those tickets, okay? May 8th through the 10th, I will be in Pleasanton, California at Tommy T's. Pleasanton, California at Tommy T's. May 15th and 16th, I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts. That's about 90 minutes north of Boston. I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts, May 15th and 16th. And then everybody that was coming to see me in Charlotte, that date has been rescheduled. It was canceled. Remember, but at the beginning of the year, it was canceled because Charlotte got hit with a bunch of snow. And so I hope everybody in Charlotte made it out okay. And now you have another opportunity to see me when I come to your city. It has been rescheduled to May 24th. That's a Sunday evening. I'm doing 2 shows, I believe like 6 p.m. and maybe 9 p.m. or something like that. But don't worry, Monday is a holiday. Okay? So that is Sunday, May 24th. I will be in Charlotte. Go ahead and get those tickets. May 30th, I will be in Atlanta. May 30th, that's a Friday. In Atlanta, Georgia. The tickets for the first show are low. Like the tickets for the first show are almost sold out. And so make sure you guys get those tickets. That is May 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. June 6th, I will be in Washington, D.C. taping my second stand-up comedy special at Howard Theater. That is June 6th. There are 2 shows. And let me tell you, I see the tickets selling for those shows. If you want to be at those shows, get your tickets because they are going fast, actually. And we have to because it's a taping, I don't know, maybe the way the theater is set up, it seats maybe like a little over 600 or something like that. But we have to kill some of the seats. So it might, the theater, let's say I normally would be able to fit like 700 people in there, It's like because we got to kill the seats, maybe I can only fit like 590, 600, So make sure you guys get those tickets, okay? That's June 6th in Washington, D.C. Then June 11th, I will be in St. Louis, Missouri. June 11th, St. Louis, Missouri. And June 26th through the 28th, I will be in Tempe, Arizona. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't know if y'all was around. Y'all been on my journey since. But 2 years ago when I did Tempe, I flew a plane. For a couple of seconds, I was in the sky in a private plane with some black girl pilots. It was fantastic. One of the pilots, she finally has completed all of her training and stuff, and so now she's an actual pilot, for the airline, for the major airlines. And so I look forward to going back to Tempe to perform the shows, but also to celebrate with her. She's a young black woman, and I just think it's so fantastic. Anyway, that is June 26th through the 28th in Tempe, Arizona, at the Improv. Go ahead and scroll down to the details of this podcast, click on the link, and you can get your tickets. While I have you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let us know you want to be here. Leave a nice comment. Leave a thoughtful comment. Leave a comment that shows that you're a critical thinker. Leave a comment that is contextually clear so that I know what you're talking about, because sometimes I'll be reading the comments and I just don't respond or give it a thumbs up because I'll be like, I don't even know what they talking about. I don't know what they referencing. I don't know what they talking about. I ain't got nothing for them. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up. It helps. And let's talk about marriage. Okay, so Dax Prescott, who I know nothing about. He's a professional athlete. He's a professional football player. There was rumor. It was rumored. It was breaking news a few days ago that him and his I don't want to say longtime girlfriend. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years or 4 years or something like that. His girlfriend and the mother of his 2 children, who are 2 years old and 9 months, and so that's very recent. Her name is Sarah Jane Ramos. It was headlines hit the trades, the blogs, the internet, the press. the other day saying that they were a month out from their wedding, a wedding that they probably a lavish wedding, a wedding that they had been planning, because she didn't want to sign the prenup. And it sparked a lot of online conversation. It actually, as much as I don't know anything about them and I have no dog in the fight, I have no, like, there's nothing for me to lose or benefit. I looked at it and was like, great. Because if y'all can't agree on this, maybe you shouldn't get mad. And I know that sounds a bit like pessimistic, and it's not actually. It's so pragmatic, it's so reasonable that it's probably foreign to the ear. It's probably foreign to the brain. Anyway, since those headlines broke, it has then come out where they're trying to correct it, it was not over a prenup dispute. So Sarah Jane Ramos is setting the record straight after it was announced that she and her fiance, Dak Prescott, had called off their engagement 1 month before their wedding. Sarah responded to rumors the couple had broken up over a prenup. The Tampa Bay native commented, I love how they just be giving information. It is, sure. Okay, she's from Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay native commented on March 9th via Instagram. This had nothing to do with the prenup. I hope we can put this rumor to rest now. She also said that there wasn't any rockiness in the lead up and there was no big argument or blow up. Or she didn't say that, but that's what a representative told People magazine. It was a mutual decision. And most importantly, the duo who were first linked in 2023. So that's what I'm saying, 3 years. Engaged in 2024. They are focused on their co-parenting journey, which is what they should be focused on because they have 2 very young kids. They love their girls, blah, blah, blah. This is like a PR statement, right? Obviously something happened. Is it any of our business what happened? No. These are people who don't exist in my world, in my life, and have the right to their privacy. But I also understand that Dak Prescott is a very known athlete. I think according to articles, he's worth $70 million or something like that. And I think her people tried to push back, because people were like, the initial narrative, the initial response was like, yeah, of course, she ain't got nothing. So she ain't gonna want to sign no prenup. And then I guess somebody on her team, people were pushing back no, she has her own money and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay, let me look up, what her money is. And I couldn't find anything, which is okay. I don't even think she need to have money. I don't think that you both need to have money for a prenup to work. I have said on this show before, I have said on public platforms, I am a believer in prenups. I was just talking to somebody, and I was like, we had a prenup conversation very early, and not because I realized that. And this is what we're going to talk about too in this whole marriage conversation is we really rely on tradition when we've moved past that traditional space, right? So I'm also going to talk about the chatter that is on TikTok by way of the girl. I'll get her name when I start talking about it, but she was the co-host of Catfish. Beautiful woman, beautiful girl. But I guess I don't know, she commented on people talking about Bridesmaid, stuff like that. And overall, it really is just because people try to apply tradition in a non-traditional way, right? Even now when we just talk about relationships between heteronormative relationships with men and women and what those traditional roles are, you can't apply, you can't be trying to apply the stuff that was law when women couldn't even have pockets. There was a time when women could not even have pockets. The only way a woman was a legal and viable citizen was because a man spoke up for her. We don't live in that time no more. So to apply all the rules of that time, all the tradition of that time to your union or to your partnership today is just so asinine. It's so ridiculous. Also, if you live in, I think sometimes when you work like a quote unquote regular job, and by a regular job, I don't mean that the job is not impactful, but I mean that it's like the pay format is very straightforward, meaning you show up, you clock in, you get paid for the hours that you work, right? In this business, everything is a contract. In entertainment, every single thing is a contract. And somebody could like stipulate like, well, I guess it's a contract at when you're at work too. Like if you clock in, the contract is that when I'm clocking in, these are the hours that I pay for. Sure, of course. Everything is a contract, right? Everything we've made contracts spiritually with our parents, with God, you know what I'm saying? Of course, yeah, right. But no, these are legit contracts. When I read a script that somebody sends me and they send me an NDA to sign, a non-disclosure agreement to sign my name to, this did a test that I am not going to share this with anybody. I'm not going to leak this information. Guess what? If I do and they can prove it, they can take me to court and hold me fully liable. What happens in a marriage if it doesn't work out? You go to court. If a marriage doesn't work out and you want to part ways, you don't go to the pastor that married you. Sure, you can go to the pastor or the imam or the rabbi or whoever else. You can go to whatever spiritual person or person who got they license online to wed you. You can go to them for counseling. You can go to them to talk. You can go to them to work it out. But when you want to separate legally, you got to go to the state. So when you form your union legally, at the beginning of it and at the end of it, whether the end of it is by divorce or the end of it is by death, unless y'all dying like Romeo and Juliet, holding hands, dying at the same time, the state is going to come in and determine what happens. What happens when one of y'all go? And there's any assets left behind, there's any property left behind, there's anything that is worth anything left behind, what happens? Are you sure you don't want to put something in place? And I think the misconception is that the prenup doesn't serve both parties. I think that's what the misconception is. That the prenup doesn't serve both parties. That's what it is. I'm actually surprised that all of the stuff that we need, like the common sense things that we need as adults, it's crazy that they don't teach us that in school. The fact that they don't teach us how to file our taxes in school, the fact that they don't there's just certain things that they don't they just don't, that we really, really, really need. When I sign a contract with a studio, when I sign a contract to be a comedian on a show, to be an actor on a show, the studio is much bigger than me, you guys. How much money does Amazon have? But I still showed up to the table with a legal representative that has only my interest at heart, not Amazon's interest. Now, what they are aware of is what Amazon has to give. And what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and work to get whatever Amazon has to give that's in the best interest of me. The fact that people don't see marriage like that. Now, here's the thing. I would not be saying this. I would not be saying this if marriage was simply you go to your religious house, you go to your religious representative and be like, hey, and then if for some reason, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if for some reason you have to dissolve the marriage, you go right back to that religious person and be like, hey, what you got to say? What's the prayer? What do we have to stay apart for 3 months? And then what do we have to do? Do I have to put on all black for 3 months and then I can marry again? What has to happen? If that were simply all that it was, then sure. But I think also, this sounds so unromantic. And it's crazy for me to be saying it because I'm such a romantic. Oh my God, I love love, you guys. I love romantic love. You know how good it feels to like a boy? You know how good it feels in the body? The tingly feeling, the excitement you get when you like somebody, when you're attracted to somebody, when they like you back, when y'all conversation works, when you consider one another, when you have fun together. You know how good that feels? I love it. 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 I love it, you guys. But marriage is not and was never about love. And that's a reality that people don't want to face. How could marriage have been about love when they had when they had 30, because men wasn't living to 42, when they had 37-year-old men marrying 11-year-old girls? How could it have been about love, you guys? It was about property. It was about merging of families. It was about business. It was about land. It was about resources. It was not about love. So now when people talk about love, which is great, I'm marrying you because I love you. I would like to have this prenup in place because I want to be in control if for some reason our love doesn't sustain. Now, that sounds real unromantic. You don't want to say that when you don't want to say that right after you put the ring on the finger. You don't want to say that right after you say, I will marry. You know what I'm saying? It's a time and a place. I'm not saying that you got to be like, will you marry me and also sign this prenuptial agreement? I'm not saying that. But I think that they're good. And I think that especially if we get out of the traditional roles, and by that I mean like the male female roles, and also like the have and the have nots. Like, oh, so he's the one that has so much. Baby, you got to know your state laws. You got to know your state laws, which is why I don't care how much I love a man. I don't care how much I love a man. What he ain't about to do is not have no job. Now, I'm not trying to stipulate what his job is or is not, but what he not going to do is not have a job. You want to know why? Because in the state of California, which is where I live and possibly where I'll get married, if it is shown that you created and provided a livelihood and they were not working, their work was completely in service of you, taking care of the house, whatever. Guess what? Then you owe them. You got to pay like you weigh. You have to sustain their standard of living. Yeah. It's like a child. Yeah. Oh, you don't want this child in your house no more? Okay. Yeah, no, we'll let the child, we'll take the child from you, but you got to pay. Because somebody got to take care of this child. This child hasn't been working. Ladies, get you a rich man if you want. Get you a whole rich man. And if he asks you to sign a prenup, get your own lawyer. Sit at the table. Put on something he like, girl. Sit at the table and negotiate the fuck out of that contract. And here's the thing. I hope y'all stay together forever if that's what you want. And then it'll be null and void. It'll be null and void. Y'all could even separate on good terms. And it's like, oh, look, okay, yeah. So the prenup says that, you came with this, I came with this, whatever it says. It don't even have to say that. Like, I've seen so many different prenuptial agreements. I've seen prenuptial agreements and I be like, dang, I hope you get divorced so you could get all this. This is great. You about to be set up. You sure you want to stay? How long you got to stay married for this to go into effect? So it's not about like, what do you have and what don't you have? It's like, look at it from a practical way. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia, prenuptial agreements, because I think that the biggest thing that that hinders people it's religion, but Christianity in particular. And don't worry, I'm not coming for the Christians. I know some of y'all, because I'm Muslim, you think that sometimes I'm like making a mockery of Christianity. And if you understood what I understood, which is like, I look at them as like balls on the same chain, actually. And so if you understand that, then you would know that if I make any mockery of Christianity, then I would be mocking Islam as well, because they are sequential to one another, you know. But I don't pretend to know, because I didn't grow up that way, and I wasn't taught that way. And so some things I'm not going to know, and some things I might, the way I pick them up might be incorrect, you know? But I do find, and this made sense because when I looked it up, I realized that like Christianity, in a sense, not the essence, not the faith of Christianity, but the practice of the church, rather, has always been like, even when I was watching The Crown, it was like they had so many laws. That's why nobody could get married to the people they really loved. They had to marry people who was like acceptable to the crown. And I didn't really understand, but it was like, it was the Church of England. And so the church, it was no separation of church and state. And so like in Catholicism, there's something called canon law, and prenups are basically like civil. And so they kind of separate it. They don't really kind of touch it, right? But then I was like, let me go to like the ones that I know, the ones who be in my life, the ones who I be seeing talk about this, right? Which are the Baptists. And they are contrary to prenuptial agreements. It says the Independent Fundamental Baptists, and forgive me if that's a sect of baptism that I just, if that's a specific but reflects a perspective that prenuptial agreements are contrary to Christian teaching regarding marriage and as a covenant. So it makes sense to me that most of the people that I hear that are anti-prenup, they be these types of Christians. And their thinking is like, well, doesn't that mean I'm starting the marriage thinking that it will fail? No. If that is what it means to you, then you might need to go to like marriage counseling. You might need to go to you might need to take like a law class. Like you might need you might need, and this is not saying you're not smart, but you might need a certain amount of like a different type of education to like activate your logic. This is what it says for Islam. And I know somebody like, here she, okay, watch the Muslims gonna be good. It is though, low key. A Muslim woman may lay down certain conditions in the taqliq, which is the prenuptial agreement, before signing the marriage certificate to safeguard her welfare and rights. You see how they don't even talk about it from a male point of view? It's literally before signing the marriage certificate to safeguard her welfare and her rights. Very similar stuff in Judaism too. Very similar. They call it the ketubah. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Not only is it an integral part of a Jewish marriage, they sign the joint and read it out loud at the marriage ceremony. And y'all, listen, Okay, I'm gonna say something that's real controversial right now. But everybody always be want to talk about the Jews got the money, the Jews got the money, the Jews got the money. They sign and read out loud at the marriage ceremony the prenuptial agreement. But okay. My friend sent me this video about bridesmaids. Oh no. I did I put miracle knots back in my hair, you guys see? Cause I don't know if I think I'm gonna keep them because I'm going to Australia. Here, let's unmute her and let's start it over. I don't know why y'all are coming at Eli with that. Her name is Cammie Crawford. She is a beautiful woman. And she really likable. I think like when I see her videos and stuff like that, I don't think I've seen many videos. I don't think I've ever seen a video. I liked her when I haven't watched a lot of Catfish episodes, but when the ones that I have seen that she has hosted, I've only felt like she was a very reasonable addition to the show. And when I see like any of her like online content it's all sort of like influencer brand type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so here she is. And the video was titled Bridesmaids, Slick Back Buns, and Why Y'all Don't Have Friends. And it's long, y'all. It's long. Let's see if we could. I don't know if we.
And I'm going to tell it to you just like this. The bridesmaid's hair is going to be whatever the fuck I, the bride, say that it's going to be. I don't know why y'all are coming at Eli with that energy. When you plan your wedding, when you spend your dollars, or when you have dollars spent on you, you can make whatever decision for the bridesmaid's hair that you want to make. When it's your turn, if I'm your bridesmaid, baby, you don't even have to tell me. You don't even have to tell me the inspo for the hair. I will show up. I will have my hair just like this prepared to do whatever it is that you want me to do. You want me to have box braids? 45 inches? Sure. You want me to have a bust down?
Not box braids 45 inches. I think she was going to say a bust down middle part. I'm not sure. But I do think in this video, in my opinion, she's going to say, it's like every single thing she says is true. But almost everything she says, she contradicts herself. So it's like multiple things can be true, but sometimes when you put them in the same sentence, they contradict, it's like, but okay, so the first point she made is like, listen, it's my wedding. And I want the bridesmaid's hair how I want the bridesmaid's hair. And my bridesmaids are going to have the hairstyles that I want. And I think maybe, so I don't know like the backstory, but maybe somebody left in the comments like, oh, well, I just wear a slick back bun or something like that. And like, what I don't know, but because obviously her caption says slick back buns. And so this seems like an attack. It sounds like somebody didn't want to do their hair or didn't want to do their hair like how she suggested or how a soon to be bride suggested. But I think the thing that immediately makes me say, okay, that's reasonable, is that she says, everything that I require of my bridesmaids, when it's their turn to get married, I'm showing up with the same willingness. And I think like you can't be mad at reciprocity, right? It's like, oh, you gonna get beat the fuck up if you make me put some blonde highlights in my hair and I got a bouffant in a curtain bang. And then when I come and ask I want everybody to be Bobbianas in my wedding picture, and you like, I don't think I could get a bob. Oh, then girl, we're fighting. We're not, because fights can go bad. So I'm being ridiculous. We're not fighting at all. Actually sent my little sister a video by accident on TikTok. I sent her a video by accident. It was a little girl, a young girl, maybe like 12, 13 years old, and I guess she had got off the bus. Maybe she was being bullied by some other kids in the school, and she got off the bus and the video, you don't really see the fight, but apparently there was a fight. And then the next video you see is the girl is like laid up in the hospital, like fighting for her life. And I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if, you know, she got into a fight and it triggered some, like, you know, it triggered, like, I'm not sure if she was beat so badly. I don't believe that was the case, because I believe that the mother posted the video. And so I believe if the mother would have posted that, that's something that she would have been very clear about. But I think that the trauma of the fight did activate some other trauma in the young girl's body. And I accidentally sent it to my sister. I didn't even realize that I accidentally sent it to my sister. And my sister was like, yeah, this is why I don't be fighting. I was like, exactly. And then my sister sent me a follow-up message the next day and was like, I heard that the girl who was in the hospital, I heard that she passed away. I haven't fact checked that. I hope that that's not the case. That would be so sad. But it's the reason why I try to avoid conflict, especially physical conflict. That's why I'm saying the barbs is so ridiculous. Like, it's like anything can go wrong. I remember a friend of mine. She was at a game night or something like that. And I remember I saw her the next day and she was riled up. Yeah, I was playing Taboo and this girl tried to fight me. And I was like, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat you. This is obviously when we was much younger, right? In our early 20s. And she, I beat your ass. And Zainab, I was thinking, she lucky you wasn't there. And let me tell y'all, I knew that I was preparing myself. As much as I didn't know where I was going, I knew I had somewhere to be. You guys, I knew I had somewhere to be, because the moment she said that, and I was like, she lucky Zainab wasn't here. I said, oh, I would not have done. I'm happy that I wasn't there. That's what I said. I said, I'm happy I wasn't there. I said, first of all, you cannot be fighting over a game of Taboo. I said, we might only be 23, but we're too old for that. You can't be fighting over a game of Taboo. I said, but also, I said, I ain't trying to fight nobody. I said, imagine that. Imagine you fighting over a game of Taboo. You hit her, she fall, she got epilepsy. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Something is so minute can be like it can turn life changing. Who wants that? Who wants that? And then when you got to sit in a cell and reflect on your life and how drastically it changed, and you like, this was all for Taboo? It's like, come on. So I'm being funny when I say we gonna fight. We're not gonna fight, but we definitely will not have any relationship. And again, if you have me doing a bunch of shit as your bridesmaid, and then when it's time for you to show up and do that for me, you kind of like, what we got to do to my hair? Girl, you know, I just got a cellophane treatment. So, excuse me?
Blonde? Sure. You want me to have a slick back bun? Sure. My job as a bridesmaid is to do what the bride tells me to do. That's my job.
Now, I agree with that too. Your job as a bridesmaid is to assist the bride. It really is a trusted position. When somebody asks you to be a bridesmaid or a groomsman, you know, it is a trusted position, and you're really there solely to help. You're really there in a support position. But now here's the thing. I think what brides where they get confused is, just because I'm here to help you, just because I'm here in service of you, just because I'm here to support you, does not give you permission to be a bitch. Does not give you permission to be unreasonable. Does not give you permission. We done all got dressed up and put on a pretty dress and had our hair nicely done and put on some makeup. So why you got me picking wax out your toes, I don't know. But this is not an excuse for you to finally be the mean girl that you always felt you needed. Like, this is not an excuse for that. And you going to find out today. But if I am there to make sure that this day that is supposed to be the most special day in your life, I'm here so that you don't have. I remember when I don't like to compare these things, but We all know the friends that are going to show up and be helpful. My friend Chloe, when I was shooting my special, when I was shooting Hijabs Off, as much as a good amount of my friends came to see me, this was Chloe's personality. Chloe immediately came in and was like, do you need your suit steamed? Where's your shoes? Do you need anything put on the bottom of your shoes? Where are you walking out to? Okay, like she immediately sprung into action and sort of took it. Did you eat? Do you need us to get you something to eat? Like immediately. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so in the same way that it was your job. If we go back, I was talking about tradition. First of all, bridesmaids and things like that. That's not just something that, first of all, it really was because you were the maid of this royal. You get what I'm saying? You were the maid of this royal, this high class lady. You actually helped her. You actually were in a paid position. You were in a paid position to help her with many things. And so you also you also became her bridesmaid because she's getting married. That's where the term comes from. Also, too, if it's a bunch of bridesmaids, right? It's like a maid of honor and a maid of honor and a matron of honor. A maid of honor, obviously, is like the main one, sort of the quarterback, right? The quarterback to make sure you get off the ground. Everything goes off without you know what I'm saying? Quarterback, run the plays. Make sure everything gets done. But also, and then obviously it's the maid of honor if you're not married and you younger, or the matron of honor if you are married, right? And then the bridesmaids, really, it was also like a way to show society or whoever, these are the eligible women. Hey, and the groomsmen, these are the eligible, like, because marriage was all about promoting more marriage. That's why you throw the bouquet and somebody catch the bouquet. Y'all next to get married. That's why the bridesmaids be fighting over the bouquet, because the bridesmaids was there not just to be like, we got to get shit done, but they was there because they put on display. Am I going to be the next bride? I'm 14 and I'm single. Cause you was like a matron of honor when you was like 22. Back in the day when you was 27. It's like, oh no, you probably ain't never gonna get married. Unfortunately, we gonna make you a nurse, a teacher, a kitchen aide. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me go back.
You need me to ice your feet? I got you. You need me to fluff your dress? Got you, babe. Steam it? I'm on it. I'm 10 steps ahead of you. I'm already doing it. For y'all to get up on this internet and say anything about what a bride envisions for her wedding, for the glam, for the dress, like, oh.
But baby, that's what the internet gonna do. Let me tell you something about the internet. The people don't care. They gonna give you everything you don't need and don't want. You said, please, no opinions. And they say, but I have to give you one. This is just what the internet is going to do. And so even me, when sometimes I'll be like, thank God that my real life, thank God that I love my real life offline. Like, thank God that I just love and enjoy my real life offline so much. Thank God. Because the rules of engagement on the internet, the rules of engagement on social media, oh, insanity.
I fear y'all could not be my bridesmaids. I fear y'all would hate me. Because I'm going to make sure that my girls have whatever it is that they need. Best of everything. Best of everything. Because I don't believe in a bride making their bridesmaids look fucking crazy. You should not. Your bridesmaids should look just as bomb as you do. Like, I want everyone to be on Upstage the Bride territory. Like, look fucking amazing. Look incredible. Look the best that you've ever wanted to look as well. But to say that a bride is a hater or something like that because you normally wear your hair in a slick back bun, and for the one day on my wedding, I say no slick back buns. Now I'm a hater because I don't want you to wear your traditional hairstyle at my wedding. My wedding is not your traditional. Like, my wedding is not your tradition. Whatever you do on your normal day, you can do that at your wedding if you so choose. If that's what you want to do, I support you, sister. On this day, in this year of our Lord, with this mood board that I've set to do, with this wedding that I've been planning for months and maybe years, we're gonna do what I say. That's how this is gonna work. So, this may ruffle some feathers. Many of you may not like me after this. Many of you maybe didn't like me before, and this is only exacerbating the situation, and that's fine by me. When it's your wedding day, you make the decisions. When it's mine, I make the decisions. You see how that works?
I think, I'm always saying be reasonable, right? And like there was a whole show called Bridezilla where I'm sure that came from a very real thing. People, brides were being very unreasonable, but I'm also sure that it was heightened once they, what you put a can. It's like, yeah, you might just be a brat or and then once you get like, in order for me to produce an episode, I need you to be a really shitty bride. I need you to be a really shitty bride. For this to be a good episode, I need you to be a really shitty bride. So even as a producer, I am going to heighten situations only to show you as our titular character, which is a bridezilla, right? But I think that, again, this is like traditions, right? Like traditionally, in America, especially in the United States, rather, you are supposed to pay as a bridesmaid. You're supposed to pay for your dress. You're supposed to pay for your hair, and blah 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 blah. I think that if that's the case, then that should be your gift. I don't think that you should have to then give the couple a gift if you already are, paying for everything, all the accoutrement of the wedding. You get what I'm saying? Because I only, like she said, your tradition is not from, the way you traditionally wear your hair, that's not for my wedding. So it's like, okay, we doing this because you want these forever pictures, right? You want your pictures that you supposed to look at forever to look a certain way. So you going to have to, you either going to have to be conscious of what everybody in your party can do. I think in this video, she actually says like her expectations of her bridesmaids isn't like she recognizes that she has like, privilege in terms of like the brands that she works with, and a lot of things are going to be provided for her and blah, 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 blah. And so she was saying like everything that in her wedding, she takes care of everything. Right. And I think that that's like, she's probably coming from a position that maybe somebody else isn't. Even still, and I don't think this girl remind me so much of my sister actually, but even still, this girl, her name is Cammie, it doesn't give you permission to be an asshole. It's like if we take this out of Bridesmaids, right? Just because you're rich, just because you're talented, just because you're attractive, just because people like you, just because you have a big house, just because you're the principal of a school, just because you're the leader of it doesn't give you permission to be an asshole. And we can identify the two. I know the difference. And like, it's very hard to have nuanced conversations online, but it's like we all know the difference. Most of us know the difference between somebody that is in need of support versus somebody that is abusing my willingness to show up for them. They're abusing the trust that I have in them to not overuse me as a resource. Ouch. What y'all think? I remember, and then I'm gonna go. I remember a friend of mine, really, really close friend of mine, her friend got married. And this friend of mine is so giving. It's one of the most beautiful things about her. She is very, very giving of her energy, of her words, of her spirit, of her time, of her, like she's very giving. And I think people know this about her, you know? And she helped her friend with the wedding. And I wasn't at the wedding. Like, as much as I know the friend, I'm not wedding guest. I ain't gonna be at her wedding. And I ain't one of them people to just be wanting to go to a wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as the weddings that I have been to, I always be crying at weddings. I be like, because I love, y'all. I be like, I hope they signed a prenup. Even if they only got $22 to their name and an IKEA dresser, I hope that they signed a prenup, because this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love. But I remember being so angry. I remember being so upset because my friend called me and she felt so mistreated by her friend. When all she was there to do was help, the friend had abused her service, abused it. And then, y'all know me, I said, girl, I'm so sorry. I was like, what? You know, I'm on the edge of my seat with the story. What? And then she did what? And then, no, really? And then what? And y'all, well, did the wedding even I mean, you know me, I'm a captive. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to listen and give you a response, right? I said, well, you know, at least at the end of it, did you get you a nice gift? Because that's also what happened. It's like, yeah, I'm going to have y'all doing all of this. Like she said, like Cammie Crawford said, you need me to rub ice on your feet? I got it. Now, what are the gift bags looking like, sis? What are the thank you gift bags looking like, sister? You made me get box braids, 42-inch box braids. You made me get box braids down to my Achilles heel. What are you? I have a crook in my neck, sister. What are the gift bags giving? Is there a Brookstone massager in the gift bag, sis? Is there a gift card to my local massage? What's the massage envy? Don't send me to no massage envy, no shade, but what are the gift baskets looking like? What are the gift bags looking like, right? So I said that. I said, well, girl, at least I know she must have got you a good gift. My friend was like, Zainab, nothing. She said she ain't even say thank you to me yet. She said she's calling me. I can't even answer because I'm so upset. I can't believe that she used me and also treated me in that way. Like, I am so exhausted. And y'all know me, because I love, even platonic love. I love. And I just can't stand to see somebody just like her, you know? And so I, not to toot my own horn, but I take my friend. I said, girl, what you doing? What you doing on this day? When you free? We going to get massages. We're going to get massages. We're going to get you a night. We're going to go to Burke Williams right in Woodland Hills. So we're going to sit in the sauna. We're going to sit in the steam room. We're going to do ice baths. We're going to do all that. We're going to get in the jacuzzi. We're going to talk. We're going to have some lemon water, some cucumber water. We're going to be eating fruit. And how much do you need? A 90-minute, 2 hour, 2.5 hour massage? What you need? We getting massages, girl. And she was like, I don't even know if she ever had them. I don't want to speak to whatchamacallit. I can't remember if she had massages before that. I can't remember. But she was like, I was like, yeah, girl, let's do it. We'll have lunch. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's no reason why you should have did all of that and somebody not take care of you. How awful is that? How awful is that? Even back in the day when the maid was waiting on the queen or the royal or the woman of society, it's like the perk was you get to be with the woman of society. There's perks involved with it. People don't just take you, use you, abuse your resources, and then send you on your way. That's a crime. And not only Did I take her to get a massage? But when I was going to this particular Burke Williams, there was this massage therapist. I think she moved back to DC to get like a doctorate or something. When I tell you her hands were anointed. This black woman, her hands were, and I said, you know what, girl? I'm even going to book your appointment with her. I'm going to take somebody who I know. I'm going to be laying in my massage the whole time thinking about how good your massage is. I'm going to be laying in my massage the whole time like, dang, I probably shouldn't have booked these appointments at the same time. I should have booked them back to back. But it's like, you can't do that because it's like the whole point is for me to be there and be in service of my friend, to cheer her up, to take care of her because somebody did not take care of her. And so you can't have your people out in the world not being taken care of. So you got to take care of them. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm gonna let you have the good one. I was so excited when I finished my massage and then we met back up in the spa. I said, she was good, right? She was like, Zainab. I said, I know, girl. With my subpar ass massage. I know, girl. I bet she was good. I was living vicariously through her in my massage. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, but this is enough. Thank you so much for tuning in to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. Put in the comments, keep this conversation going. Let me know, like, how do you, what are the rules of engagement with bridesmaids? What do you think is a reasonable ask for a bridesmaid? Do you think that bridesmaids should have to pay for their dress, their hair, their makeup, etc.? Do you think that the wedding party, do you think the bride and the groom should pay for that? How do you guys feel about prenuptial agreements? Let us know if you married in the comments. Let us know if you have ever, served a prenuptial agreement. All of that stuff, let me know in the comments, okay? I can't wait to read them. Until I see you guys again, stay reasonable.